Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating linguistic secret: why native English speakers constantly break the basic rules of present tenses. Seriously, if you've ever felt like textbook grammar just doesn't quite match up with how people actually speak, well, you're absolutely right. We're going to break down the exact detailed mechanics behind these quote-unquote broken rules, and we'll do it in a way that's super easy to understand. By the end of this, you're going to be using these tricks to sound incredibly natural and dynamic. So why do native English speakers break the rules? Well, almost everyone learns from day one that the present continuous tense means, something is happening right now. But today, we're going to discover why native speakers deliberately throw that rigid textbook rule right out the window. They do it for a few reasons: to tell way better, more gripping stories, to react to news in real time, and to express their emotions vividly. Making this shift from rigid rules to conversational reality involves some fine details, but I promise we're going to make it incredibly easy to understand. Here's our roadmap for today. We're looking at 1. Bringing stories to life, 2. Calling the action live, 3. Sharing and reacting to news, 4. Expressing annoying habits, and 5. Putting it into practice. Kicking things off with Section 1, Bringing Stories to Life. When telling anecdotes, native speakers actually map out a story structure by mixing two tenses, which makes past events feel incredibly immediate. Think of it like directing a movie. The present simple drives the main plot and sudden actions forward like lightning. Meanwhile, the present continuous is there to paint that broader, longer background scene. By layering these two together, you literally create a vivid 3D picture in your listener's mind. And this perfectly illustrates our point. Check out this example. The background scene is established seamlessly with the continuous tense. This man's playing golf. That just sets the stage. But then the sudden main plot events: bounding, grabbing, hitting. They're all delivered in this snappy, rapid-fire present simple. It makes the whole joke feel active and exciting. If we had just put the whole thing in the standard past tense, honestly, it would feel like a dry historical report. No fun at all. We can actually take this storytelling trick a step further. You can mix the literal past tense with the present simple for an awesome jump scare effect. You use a past tense or a phrase like all of a sudden to set up the moment, and then, boom, you switch to the present simple to highlight a really dramatic, unexpected event. Like, I was in the park reading a newspaper when all of a sudden this dog jumps at me. See? That sudden shift to jumps grabs the listener's attention right away. Moving right along to Section 2, Calling the Action Live. In live sports broadcasting, the exact same logic applies, it's just happening right now. The fast-paced, present simple reports the instant blink-and-you-miss-it action. So words like serves and makes pinpoint those instantaneous events. But then notice how the commentator switches to the continuous tense, saying, "She's playing magnificent tennis," to describe the overall background performance of the match. It's a highly detailed way to separate quick action from an ongoing state, and it makes it super easy for the listener to follow the flow of the game. Next up is Section 3, Sharing and Reacting to News. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. When we introduce information we've recently read, heard, or seen, we rely heavily on these specific present simple phrases. Even though you technically heard the news in the past, using phrases like, "I gather you're worried about Pedro," or "Sophia tells me you're thinking of emigrating," brings that past information right into the present moment. It makes the gossip or the news feel fresh, relevant, and highly conversational. It's a very subtle detail, for sure, but mastering these phrases instantly elevates your fluency. We also see this exact rule in action in the broader world of media, specifically with news headlines. Headlines are almost always talking about events that have already happened, right? However, to create a massive sense of urgency and impact, journalists use the present simple. So instead of a boring, "a second quake hit Japan," the headline screams, "Second quake hits Japan," or "Fire breaks out in hotel room." It literally forces the reader to pay attention by making the past feel like it's unfolding right this very second. So the crucial point to take away here is that summarizing media, whether it's that shocking newspaper headline we just talked about, or explaining a plot point in a book or a film, belongs firmly in the present simple. Think about it. When you tell your friend about a movie, you don't say, "At the beginning of the film, 3 men found the money." You say, "3 men find $4 million." The world inside a book or a movie is treated as this permanently repeating present reality. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's jump into Section 4. Expressing annoying habits. Normally, adverbs of frequency like always or constantly pair up with the present simple. But by combining the present continuous with these specific adverbs, always, constantly, continually, forever, we emphasize that something is done so frequently, it's basically become a character trait. And usually, this is the absolute perfect formula for expressing disapproval or annoyance. If you say you're constantly changing your mind, you instantly convey frustration. Interestingly, as our source notes, you can occasionally use this for positive traits too, like he's always offering to help, but let's be real, it primarily serves as the ultimate complaining toolkit. Beyond just annoying habits, we also use the present continuous to describe something we regularly do at a very specific, targeted time. For example, at 8 o'clock, I'm usually driving to work. Now, it's a routine, yes, which usually takes the present simple. But because you were zooming in on an exact moment in time, 8 o'clock, where you are right in the middle of that action, the continuous tense becomes the perfect, most accurate tool for the job. Finally, Section 5, putting it into practice. When you look at our source material, you see how perfectly all this aligns. Understanding the detailed grammatical theory empowers us to totally breeze through real-world conversational applications. These aren't just boring textbook exercises, they are exact blueprints for natural communication. So when you look at an exercise, or more importantly, when you're in the middle of a fast-paced, real-life conversation, keep this detailed but super easy to understand three-step process in mind. Step 1, identify your context. Are you reporting a snappy main action or a longer background scene? Step 2, choose your intent. Are you introducing gossip, complaining about a friend, or summarizing a movie? And step 3, just apply the correct tense nuance we just learned. It really is that simple. Let's look at a concrete example right from the practice exercises in our source. Imagine you're in a sports broadcasting context. Applying our steps, you instantly know to use the present simple for those quick, immediate actions, passes, and shoots. Then you smoothly transition right into the continuous tense, is playing, to describe the team's overall ongoing performance in the background. It is a beautifully structured way to communicate complex action simply and clearly. So, now that you're armed with this advanced communicator's toolkit, I have to ask, are you constantly using the wrong tense? And which of these everyday scenarios are you going to practice first? Will you start introducing your gossip with "Sophia tells me"? Or will you try painting a vivid background the next time you tell a hilarious joke? Dive into these details, practice the nuances, and just watch how quickly you become a completely natural storyteller. Thanks for joining this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.